There's some ingredients out there that just make everything a little more delicious. Whether it's a mellow zing that you're after, or perhaps you need a touch of oomph in your life, hot sauce has it. So I thought I'd be kind enough and let you in on my super secret hot sauce recipe that I totally didn't just make up for the purpose of this video, so that you too can enjoy the limitless possibilities of homemade hot sauce. And as you can see, we have no time to waste and we must get going to the kitchen. Presenting the star of our show, the grandiose, the one and only, the pineapple. I've heard that if you can easily pull off a leaf from the inner crown of your pineapple, then it's good to go. In my humble experience, however, the only way to actually know is by cutting it open. And the way I like to do this is by getting rid of the top and bottom and then gently stripping the sides with a sharp knife. While doing so, you want to remove as little of the good stuff as humanly possible while actually getting rid of the hard bark. Once we've got that out of the way, we want to go ahead and remove the flesh surrounding the woody core. In case you have one of those fancy pineapple core knife gizmos, feel free to use it. But if you're just a regular person, you want to cut off the cheeks of the pineapple and then remove whatever's left on each side of the core. I don't know why, but that's usually the best part, so we might as well cut a piece and give it a quick taste test. Remember, always taste as you go. We're lastly slicing the fruity stuff into fairly even slices. I'm using 2 pineapples for today's recipe, so let me show you the process quickly once more. Sides, right cheek, left cheek. Good stuff. Some more of the good stuff. And voila! These can now go on a tray, evenly spaced out to encourage maximum caramelization. But before we commit them to the oven, we're gonna dust them generously with a few tablespoons of sugar, honey, maple syrup, or anything else that might be trendy at the minute. We're then coming behind with the juice of 1 to 2 whole limes that we're gonna drizzle all over the pineapples, before we completely ruin the meticulous formation that we worked kinda hard to put into place. And since things never go back the same way they came out, obviously also applies to pineapple slices, we're introducing any formation that will fit the slices once more and letting them chill with the juice and sugar for a few minutes before giving them the oven treatment at about 160 degrees Celsius. In about 30 minutes, these should mellow out and turn a sexy golden hue. Let them chill out and you'll be left with one of the most exquisite fruit candy that you could imagine. This stuff is pure gold. Its cream's aroma packs a juicy punch and has a perfect balance of sweet and sour. Essentially, it's pineapple on steroids. Now, when it comes to the sauce we're making as we go, this will be a very mild hot sauce. To make this kinda accessible and also let the pineapple shine, I have my money on jalapenos. Cayenne peppers will give you some additional kick if you want to take things a step further. But this does not mean you can't blow your head off of your own accord. A habanero will certainly take things to a different level, but why stop there? You could certainly either use more or spicier chilies. Just make sure you know what you're doing when you're choosing your own fuel. Whatever you do decide to use, it's a good idea to cook the peppers a touch. I'm quickly charring the jalapenos in a dry skillet to release some of their natural sweetness and get them to blend better, both in terms of texture and flavor. Adding spice I think is completely optional, but I thought it'd be cool to add some extra brightness with a couple of tablespoons of coriander seeds and about the same amount of Szechuan peppercorns. Toasted over gentle low-medium heat, these will come back to life in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes. Set whatever spice you're using, if using, you really don't need to, aside and we can move on to finally blending everything. First things first, our beloved caramelized pineapple goes in. In case you want to save a slice for later, be my guest. A thumb-sized piece of ginger, peeled and roughly chopped. Our baby jalapenos, previously seen in the skillet. Some amount of the spice mixture, about 4 tablespoons of your acid of choice. I'm using white balsamic vinegar, I just love this stuff. Pop the lid on and let it run. Uh-oh. Never fear, a good push should do it. Let's try that again. If things are not going according to plan, your mixture is likely too dry. Add a touch of moisture, water or some additional acid and you'll be good to go. Until you remember you forgot the fucking turmeric. A tablespoon of that stuff goes in, mostly for color, and we're blending, tinkering with the dials for no apparent reason while marveling at the vortex below. Once you've had enough, feel free to actually taste your product and adjust for salt as desired. If all is well with the seasoning, we can proceed with straining all the hard bits out of the sauce. Make sure you use a fine mesh sieve and get as much of the good stuff as you can. Give everyone one final swirl and taste again. Pretty good so far. Jar this beauty in whatever jar you deem fit and take a minute to pat yourself on the back for a job well done. But don't take too long, because we have caramelized pineapple hot sauce coleslaw salad and salad dressing to make. And what a better place to start than shredding some Napa cabbage. This stuff has good crunch and is actually edible. We're shredding a bit of carrot for visual contrast and some sweetness, and chopping some of our caramelized pineapple, in case we have any left. For the dressing, we're adding about 150 grams of full-fat Greek-style yogurt to a bowl, the juice of half a lime, a generous tablespoon of the good stuff, a clove of garlic, a crack of salt, some mustard, and whisking to combine. Once combined, we're slowly going to drizzle in a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, while continuously stirring the dressing to emulsify into the sauce and add a touch of extra richness. Quick taste test, and drizzle that bad boy all over the coleslaw. Give everything a good mix. Introduce some dill fronds to the mix, cause why not? And lastly, plate yourself a cute little bowl of coleslaw as a snack or a side dish to whatever you may have sitting around. Don't get too carried away though, cause we have one last thing to make, and that is cauliflower buffalo wings. To a large enough bowl fitted with a sieve, we're adding about 150 grams of plain flour, a tablespoon of garlic powder, a heaping tablespoon of sweet paprika, or whatever this paprika is, some cumin, and we're running everything through the sieve to help remove any lumps and ensure a smooth batter. Salt everything. When in doubt, salt. Just salt. And we're coming behind with enough water to get this to a somewhat runny pancake consistency, but please don't quote me on that. Before we add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in a steady drizzle with the motor running. Going one at a time, we're gonna carefully dunk our prepped cauliflower florets or nuggets, whatever you want to call them, into the batter, making sure to get rid of any excess, since I later found that it doesn't cook very well when abundant. Once everyone is well coated, we can showcase the goods to everyone and move these guys to a preheated oven set to 180 Celsius. While the cauliflower is in the furnace, we can prep our buffalo sauce. For set purposes, we're joining a copious amount of butter, or about 80 grams to roughly 100 grams of the sauce, in a skillet over low-medium heat. Some amount of attentive, vigorous stirring later, and we have ourselves a well-emulsified buffalo sauce. Just make sure it doesn't get too hot, or it can and probably will split. This should be the perfect timing to glaze our cauliflower florets with the sauce we just produced, making sure to cover every nook and cranny without actually drowning the damn thing. At least that's what I assume. I've never made this before. Some extra 20 minutes in the oven and I think we're looking pretty good. While these are still steaming hot, it looks like a good point to sprinkle them with a touch of flaky sea salt for some extra pop and crunch, and bring in the support of our coleslaw dressing leftovers we made earlier, as well as some of our caramelized pineapple hot sauce. I'll admit, these could have done with some extra crunch on the batter, but the flavor is insane. Both pineapple sauces offer some well-timed zing to the whole endeavor, elevating the already gnarly buffalo cauliflower florets. Of course, as always, everything I tell you should be taken with a pinch of salt, so please don't take my word for it. Make your own.